Welcome to Allie's Attic, where you never know what kind of surprise you'll find in my attic. I'm your host, Allie, and today my surprise is a man I call a friend, and also the man behind the story Off the Ropes, Roland Vandal. Hi, Roland.
Hi,
How are you today?
I'm pretty good.
You're still making me laugh. Okay. So I've read Off the Ropes. It's very emotional. It's very raw and real. So for people who haven't picked up the book, tell us about it.
Well, I don't interesting enough. After my last fight, my last boxing match, I retired with an 0-5 boxing record. So I never won one pro fight, and ironically, that became a story. And I was asked to write a book by Gord Chillingford Publications. Gord Chillingford, who's now passed, but he's a good man, and he was interested in my story, and I was approached to write a book. And everybody could just be glad that they're not the one that had to edit my book like Carly Remery had to. I wrote my book, but really it was brilliantly edited by Carly Remery. So.
Okay. Now, it talks about the challenges you faced growing up. Explain more about that.
Well, I'm 14 years sober. I sobered up on May 15, 2002, and I'm also diagnosed with not only alcoholism, but post-traumatic stress disorder. And yeah, it's like, I don't know, I come from an alcoholic home, and my dad was an alcoholic, but a good man. My mom was there, but she was pretty tired dealing with me and my brother and my dad. You know, like it was a lot of work for her.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she kept it together the best she could.
Mm-hmm.
And but anyways, yeah, I started boxing. I grew up watching my Uncle Daniel and Donnie Roland, and Dan Vandal and Donnie Roland. I grew up watching them boxing, and I always wanted to be a boxer. And so I went and threw my hat in the ring and started boxing at, I guess, maybe about 13, 14 years old. And I went on a trip out of town with a coach from a different club, yeah, I woke up in the middle of the night and I was being abused, and yeah, and I never told anybody, and I came back to Winnipeg. I won my fight, and I was reported to Prairie, or it was in Brandon, I think. Yeah, I think it was Brandon. Yeah, and I won my fight, and I came back to Winnipeg, and I quit boxing. Just never told anybody, and. Anyways, that resulted, I was 4 times in the youth center, Manitoba Youth Center, and by the time I was 18. And yeah, I was sexually and physically abused by a number of different people. So anyways, I hated my childhood. I was so uncomfortable. I hated my life. I would cut myself, and the emotional pain inside was just way too much.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't deal with life on life's terms, yeah, it was hard. But a lot of kids go through that, right? Like your teenage years are, it's hard for everybody. That's when we're developing, right? So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of went through the same stuff you did. Honestly, reading your book was really hard for me because it did touch on a lot of things that were similar. The drugs and alcohol weren't as prevalent in my life as they were yours. How you were able to open yourself up and talk about all of that stuff still astounds me. Probably because I have a hard time talking about it. But anybody that picks up your book and reads it, whether they've gone through stuff or not, it's just an inspiring story, and it shows how much of a survivor you are, Roland.
You know what? It's it's very surprising to me because so many people contacted me, anyways, I've gone off social media for a little while. I just, but I just found out like how common the story is. You know what I mean? Whether it's, we all have our struggles and stuff, and I just found out how common it is, right? Like, it's very, very common. There's a lot of people that go through a lot of things that growing up, right? So.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things when I talk about you being a survivor, you also reach out and help as many people as you can. You were a runner-up for the Beatrice Monsignor Aboriginal Writer of the Year Award. You were a presenter at the National Anti-Bullying Week. You were named one of Manitoba's finest by the Kidney Foundation of MB Gala. You were the keynote speaker at a community conference in Show Lake 40. You participated in the Manitoba's Finest Fashion Show, which I don't find unbelievable at all because you have been, ever since you were young, a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not modest at all. Now, you were also the keynote speaker at the graduation ceremony for the Seabird Island College in Agassiz, British Columbia. Now, they've also made a national documentary depicting the story of you called The Wounded Healer. And there's other ones you were telling me about as well?
Yeah, there's the Wounded Healer, the Roland Vandal story,
Mm-hmm.
and that was done by CBC National. And then there was Filling the Void, done by Just TV, BNC, and that's on YouTube. It's called Filling the Void. There's part 1 and part 2 on YouTube.
Okay.
And then there's the documentary Fight that I was in, and that was done by the National Film Board of Canada.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then, along with those other things too, like I was named number 80 of 100 most fascinating people in Manitoba, and then one of Manitoba's finest men, and then and two Manitoba Human Rights Awards, nominations, not awards, but nominations, and why I say those things, like I've learned to try to be proud of myself, and it's not boastful, but it's just I really try to come across as what can happen when someone turns their life around, because I was homeless at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm on the board of directors of a homeless mission, the Red Road Lodge, and and I help out there, and things have kind of, it's almost like my path was, I don't know, I just feel like at the end of the day I'm 45 years old, and I spent all my 30s repairing my 20s. I sure made a mess of things. I had to go bankruptcy, and I owed $9,000 in child support, and my ex-wife, who's my best friend,
Mm-hmm.
and she wouldn't let me off, and I paid it down to about $3, and then she said, "Roland, that's enough. You don't owe me anymore." And it was all about making things right at that point, so I'm 45 years old, and life is good. I'm really enjoying my 40s, right? So.
Well, that's good. You deserve it. Now, one of the things about us that people don't know, no, that didn't even sound good, but we're not going to go there. We lived in Gillam the same time. And
I'm sharp as a marble, and I'll reiterate that I just retired with an 0-5 boxing record, so my memory would suit that kind of experience.
That's okay. And then
I walk into the next room, and I can't remember why I'm in that room. and then if I hear a bell and I'm out somewhere, I get up and start shadow boxing.
Oh my God.
It doesn't go very good when I'm on a date. No wonder I'm friggin' single.
Oh my God, Roland. Okay. I'm so glad you still have your sense of humor. Well, okay, talking about being in Gillam at the same time, then when we moved to the city, we both kind of ended in the Valley Gardens area, and that was amazing. I mean, you hung out with my brother a heck of a lot more than me, but I was still around when you guys were raising hell, so to speak.
I
Now,
was more of a legend in my own mind.
weren't we all?
Yeah.
Now, you were talking about a movie.
Yeah.
What's all that about?
Well, actually, the other day, like, my book's done so well, and the 3 documentaries have done so well, and so, anyways, I just signed a movie deal with Julie Jet Productions, and right now the script is being written on a feature movie on my life, so
Wow.
it
That
looks like it's going to be going in the theaters and all around the world and stuff too. So
that's awesome.
yeah,
Wow.
you know what? It's nice to just be able to help people. Actually, I've spoken all over Canada and the States. Like I've been to Toledo, Ohio, and Buffalo, New York, and Toronto, and like I've been all over the place, and I actually get kind of tired of hearing my own voice, but when when I hear that it's helping others, it makes it that's my motive behind it all, right? So
Well,
if my story
exactly.
can help people, then it's all good, right?
Yeah, and that's what it's all about is giving back. Now, you were named one of the top 100 speakers and community leaders in Canada and the US by the John C. Maxwell and presented with the John C. Maxwell Leadership Award. That's a big thing.
Yeah, that's the John C. Maxwell team, and they're from the John C. Maxwell University in Orlando, Florida. So I flew out there and I took a bunch of training too. So now I'm an accredited John C. Maxwell leadership coach, so life coach.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome. Now, you have some foster kids too, do you not?
yeah, I have 4.
You have 4 of them. Okay, and how are they doing? Because I know they.
Well, I have a level 5 foster home,
Okay.
and it's actually called a youth stabilization home, and it's also I also care for special needs young men, and so my hands are full, but it's I've gone through lots, but I have really good boys, and they've been through a lot, right? So, but
Yeah.
through all of this, because I used to have police at my house like every 2 days. It's been calm for the last couple of years. It's been nice and calm. But I was finally able to sit my mother down and make an amend to her and tell her that, you know what, Mom, I get it. I understand now.
Yeah, I guess. I was a
That's how
support
hard it
worker.
always was.
Yeah, I was a support worker and that was hard. So I couldn't imagine being a foster parent. Um, Kudos to you for helping get those kids off the street and, giving them a safe place. And that's all it's about really too, is not just understanding them, but providing them with a safe haven, because a lot of times growing up on the streets, surrounded by drugs and alcohol, you never have that safe place.
Well, now the biggest scare is, and I learned from my boys, and the big scare is methadone, prescription drugs,
Mm-hmm.
and of course crystal meth. But the prescription drugs in Canada are at epidemic levels, right? They're looking at it as a total epidemic to our youth, right? So
Yeah. Well, I know Ian Rabb, who you're a friend with, and
yeah,
I are going to have a show every week about addictions. And hopefully, I mean, knowledge is the best power. So hopefully, if Ian can get across all the different drugs out there that people shouldn't be touching, that hopefully will help out somehow. I know I was on prescribed drugs and I was way overprescribed. I was numb for probably, I don't know, 10 years.
yeah.
And becoming
Well,
unnumb scary.
well, that's what I like to talk about too. Is whenever I go do my talks and I try to get the message across, and I always try to leave the people with, especially when they're adults, is to lock up your prescription meds, because if they're painkillers or whatever prescription meds they're on, is the kids these days are using it as currency on the street.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't even need money. They can just steal painkillers and trade them for whatever they want, right? So
Exactly.
it's important to be responsible with your meds. And if there's anybody listening out there, your due diligence as an adult is to take care of your meds and lock them up.
Yeah. I had a lockbox that I locked mine up with. And I mean, I have 2 grandchildren, so I still have to worry. But it's a very good message to get across. And like I said, I'd love to have you back on with Ian talking about addictions because we're going to be doing it every week. And you have great insight into it because you lived it. I only lived the prescription drugs mostly. I didn't really live the drugs that you went through. And how you came out of that okay, Roland, still to this day surprises me, and it just shows how strong you are.
Well, at the end of the day, like, hopefully I shouldn't be here because I tried to commit suicide. So,
yeah.
I woke up on a bathroom floor on May 14th, 2002. And yeah, that's the last time I've ever drank these drugs. I was admitted to the hospital that day. My mom came to pick me up from a hotel I was in. And I was admitted to the Health Science Center, chemical withdrawal. And yeah, I haven't touched a drop of drugs or alcohol since.
Well, good for you.
But I tell you, like, what I do know is the problem was never the drugs or the alcohol. It was living life comfortably without it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I became sober and I never had help, I was at my ex-mother-in-law's living on her couch for a month, and I felt like I was going to die every day. And because I didn't want to drink or do drugs, but I was still very uncomfortable sober, right? So when you don't have your vice or your medicine there, like it can be doubly worse. So, it's important to get help and get around. The 12-step movement is all over the world, so that's a good support. And there's lots of other good support networks out there. So
yes, there is. Now, are you seeing somebody about your PTSD?
Yeah, I've been seeing my doctor for 14 years. So
okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Now, if people want to buy Off the Ropes, where would they purchase it?
Well, it's gone as an ebook all over the world now, and so that can be purchased at Signature Editions. And so yeah, that's the ebook that's gone out, and the hard copies are in Barnes and Noble across the U.S. and across Canada. It's in McNally Robinson, Chapters, Coles, Black Bond bookstores on the West Coast, and so it's gone all over the place.
Okay, and also I'm going to put it out there that if for some reason somebody can't find a book, they can contact me because I know you're off social media right now. So I'll be your book dealer. So yeah, if anybody wants a book and they can't find one, contact me, and then I can see if I can get in touch with you and we can find one.
Yeah, I carry lots of copies on me, so.
Yeah, I've got a great picture of my mom and you picking up my signed copy, which I'm very happy about. So
I love the way Carlene edited it. She put it in really short chapters. It was like very. I thought that was really brilliant of her to do it that way. Well,
especially if they're youth reading the book, because it's very hard for youth, to even pick up a book, period. But to really read long chapters and long books is really hard for them. So I kind of liked that it was short and sweet, but it still got to the heart of everything.
Yeah, well, that's what my attention span is too, probably 2 pages long. So the chapters are very fitting.
Okay, you're single. Remember that, Roland. You're trying to sell yourself here. You're not doing a good job.
If they don't like me the way I am, I don't want them.
There you go. Oh my God, that's my motto. Stop it. Okay, and if you have any advice to give people, what would that be?
Well, if she's listening, I'm open for coffee.
I'm going to change the name of my show. Oh, God. Okay, go on.
So, anyways, as it pertains to addiction, and, there's got to be, someone's got to be ready, right? Some say they have to have a huge emotional upheaval that is sufficient to want to consummate recovery, right? But it's really important that, especially with the mental health issues out there, there's no need for anybody to suffer in silence, because, well, as it pertains to Winnipeg, Manitoba, the Health Science Center Foundation, they're doing, they just ordered me in their featured newspaper, and because I was one of, they saved my life.
Yeah.
And then the best way for mental health and psych health and stuff is if you go to, especially in Canada, if you go to your family doctor and you ask for a referral, you can get referred to psych health, and it's all paid for by the healthcare system, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I did. And when I was ready, and I accepted all the help I could get, and I went into the chemical withdrawal, and then I went to the Addictions Foundation in Manitoba, and then I went into Tamarack Rehab. So I was about 5 months in treatment, and I really believe in long-term treatment. 28 days wasn't enough for me. I really put a lot of value into the long-term care that I've received, especially in their wonderful our healthcare system in Manitoba here, right? So.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what you say is if they have to be ready. I've tried saving a few and they weren't ready, so it blew up in my face. So I hear what you say about they have to be ready for help. Otherwise, they're not going to accept it.
Yeah, if you had the power to save people, then you could bottle that shit and you could make trillions.
I think I'd be changing my name to God.
Yeah, you'd have a new radio show for sure.
Oh, and hey, by the way, your line about you're open for coffee? I have a new line. Just offer to take them for a ride on your Harley because you'd get me in a heartbeat.
Yes, totally. What is this, a first date or regular?
I'm not sure anymore. I've lost all control. Oh my God. Anyways, Roland, thank you so much. I love that you still have your sense of humor after everything that you've gone through. It's something that you have to retain because you have to be able to laugh at yourself.
You know what? Honestly, I wasn't even happy when I was doing drinking and drugs and going to the bar, and I wasn't happy then either. So when I knew that I could quit drinking and drugs, repairing my life was hard, but you know what? I have zero desire to drink or use drugs because I wasn't happy when I was doing it anyways.
Yeah.
It was just something to do. So
yeah,
I love life sober, and it's just become a working part of my life, right? So.
Well, that's good. I love it. My life being sober too. I don't drink. I don't do drugs besides the one the doctors give me. But I have a great doctor that's helping me get off a lot of the drugs that I was overprescribed on. So that was good. Well, thank you for the laughs. Thank you for telling your story because there's a lot of people that need to hear it and there's a lot of people that want to hear it. I've already been plugging that you're going to be on my show. So it'll be up on my website. And thank you so much for joining me, Roland.
All right, thank you.
And thank you for joining me on Allie's